Hey Jackalls! Today I'll show you how to make a picture just like this one, but the one we'll focus on is the one I did in my drone video overlay, which is this one. Now in DaVinci Resolve, in the edit page, I have a clip on the timeline. I'll simply copy it, hold Alt and drag it up. I'll shorten it from the left side. And now we'll have a picture. The only thing that we need to do is select the top clip, go to the inspector, in the zoom options, I'll put this to 0.5 and we can change the position. Now we can simply repeat the process, hold Alt again, make the clip smaller and decrease the size, maybe 0.25 and change the position and do this for as long as you want, maybe something like that. And if you want to then increase the last one in value, we can simply maybe go here, keyframe the zoom and position, and at this point double click on the zoom to scale it up and double click on position to put it back to 0, and we'll have the last image pop out to full size. Now this was the easy one, but let's take a look how to make this one. So I'll copy this clip over and I'll make it from the beginning. So select it and go into the Fusion page. The first thing that we need is a transform node so that we can manipulate the input. I'll be displaying this one on the left side and the final output on the right side. So in the transform node, we'll be moving this around, like this. Then we need a merge node. This will go to the foreground. We will add a background to the background and we'll make this background transparent because when we change the size, currently it's black, so we want the background to be transparent. So simply lower the alpha to 0. We can position this back to 1. And then I'll be using rectangle shape as a mask in the merge node. And this will basically be the picture. So you can adjust the width to what you want, the height, and you can also adjust the current radius if you want this to be a circle. Then we need a second transform node so that we can move this screen to any position that we want without affecting it. So we'll be able to move it like that. Then what I want to do is add an outline to this. So I'll copy the rectangle. I'll add a background node, just like that. And we'll connect these two with the merge. So the transform will be the background and the ellipse will be on top. And if I show it, currently it's full. So we have to go to the rectangle, uncheck solid and increase the border width to what we want. And in the background, we can simply change the color to what we want. Or you can also choose a gradient if that's something that you want. And then we'll add another merge node to here so that we can simply move these two pieces together. So connect it like that. And now we can move these together if that was not the case. And if I wanted to move this, well, this would only move the ellipse, as you can see. So we'll be moving everything with merge 3 node. And the last thing that we can do, just so we can see where the pointer is with the mouse, is use another merge. We'll use an ellipse in this case, or you can just use rectangle if you want. We could also copy this rectangle so it has the same shape. Add the background, just like that. Change this back here, make a shape like that, and we'll make it smaller. Maybe something like that, but if we have an ellipse, this will make it easier for us because we can simply use an expression. Simply click inside the field for the width or the height, type in equals. This will give you an expression and simply drag the plus to the height or the width depending on which one you selected. And this means you can easily change the ellipse and both the width and the height will be the same. So now uncheck the solid and adjust the border width and scale this down. So maybe something like that. So now I'll go to merge 4 and put the ellipse maybe to this place. And we'll see why in a second. Now I'll pin the merge 4 node and go to transform 1. Now in the transform 1, I'll go to pivot, right click, select expression, and connect this one, this plus, to the center of the merge node. So that's why I pinned the merge node, so that I could simply drag the plus sign to the center position. Now as you can see, this doesn't actually work, and that's because it didn't delete the beginning. So you only need to have this part inside. And now if I display it, you can see that we only have that. Now the goal with this is that when we move the merge, the focus will be inside this screen, which currently this is not the case. As you can see, I have the fist highlighted and I can see his face. So we'll fix that. To get the default position of the smaller window, what I did is I went to the second rectangle, which has the outline. I positioned it to a place that I want. Maybe I want it here. You'll want the center position of this one, so maybe 0.85 and maybe... So this is the number that I want. Okay, let's remember those numbers. Or maybe we can just pin them, so you don't have to remember them. So these are the two numbers that we want. I'll pin rectangle 1, 1, and I'll pin the merge and select the transform 2. And inside here, we want to use these two values. So we'll do 0.5 plus 0.85, since that is the x value, and 0.5 plus 0.72, since that is the y value. Now currently this jumped here, and that's because we're not finished. You also have to copy this. So from this point, we'll be subtracting the merge node. So minus the merge for center, which is this node. And currently we have this up top. And last thing that I forgot, we actually have to go to the rectangle mask, so the mask is actually moving with the merge node, because currently it's not, as you can see. So in rectangle, go to center, right click, expression, and inside here we'll put the merge node. And now when we move the merge, you can see that this is following just like we wanted to. Of course the video will get cut off, so to get around that, you will be adding the size in the transform, so you can simply increase it in value. But the smallest value will depend on the size of the screen that you have. So what you can do to fix this is go to the rectangle, or maybe rectangle 1, put equals into the width, the height, and the current radius. Have this pinned, go to rectangle 1, and connect the width to width, height to height, and current radius to current radius. Why I want to do that is, well, you can then simply change the width in this one, and the border will change with it, as well the height, and as well the current radius. So you only need to adjust the settings once and not twice. Then you can simply go to the merge tree, position the image to how you want, and in the merge 4 you will simply move this up and down to get the animation that you want. Let's say that the minimum value for the zoom animation will be 0.6, so just keep that in mind, and the default value will be 1. In the ellipse, you can also animate the border width if you want. We can type in equals here, and what we'll be using is the transform 1 size, so we want to animate it with the size value. So we can simply type in this, transform 1 dot size multiplied by 0.006. The value here will change depending on what you want. So now if I go into the transform, you can see that the size changes. So the lowest value will be this, but you can also increase it to what you want. So if this is the max value that you want, it will be this big. You can also make the leaf smaller so it's not as big, and then see how the actual size of the ellipse looks like. So if this is too big for you, you can simply go to the ellipse and change the number to what you want. So maybe something like that. Just make sure that you change also the size for the ellipse, so you know what we focus on. So now let's put the settings to default. So the camera will be in the center, the transform will be size 1, and maybe I like it here, and I'll leave it as is. So to make this reusable in other projects and that you have settings in the edit page, simply select all of the nodes. You can select them in the order that you want to make the adjustments to. I didn't in this case, and you'll see how this will look like. Then right click on the last node in the composition. In this case, this is the merge node. Go to macro and create one. You don't need to change the name now, but let's look at the options that you want to be able to change. So in the transform one, we know we want to change the size. So transform one, size, we want to change that. And as you can see here, we have default, it's 1, that's okay. But the minimum, we said this will be 0.6. And we can also set the highest, and currently 5 is okay. So then we have the merge tree. We know we want to change the center position of that one, or at least be able to, so that we can move the screen where we want it to. So that's one. Then we have the rectangle one. In the rectangle one, we want to be able to change the width, the height, and the current radius, so that everything changes with it. And then lastly, we'll have in the merge 4, well, not lastly, but in the merge 4, we want to be able to change the center position. And in the ellipse, let's see what we want to change. Maybe the level. Maybe we want to tone this down. Then we want to be able to change, and let's see, the ellipse. In the ellipse, we can change the height because the width is automatically adjusted. So I'll select height. And I think that's about it. Once you have all of the settings that you want to adjust selected, go to File. You can save it as a group so that you can come back into the Fusion composition and make some changes. But if you use Save As, you won't be able to make any changes. So I'll save it as a group. Then this window opens up. Go to Fusion, Templates, Edit, Effects, and type in the effect that you want. As you can see, I have the drone overlay here. So this will be maybe picture in picture. Oh yeah, before I do that, we want to be able to change some colors maybe. So in the ellipse, we have background 3. We can change that color. That is under color. And if you don't want to use any gradients, it's enough that you choose only the first 4 options. So in the background 2, I'll select all of these options, these 4 options, these 4 options, and these options. The start in the end, you don't need to have the points, so you can change this. Gradient, we do want to have that selected. If you want to have the gradient, you also have to check this box, so that you'll have this drop-down menu, so that you can actually select it. Otherwise, by default, it's a solid color. But you could also just set it as a gradient, and this would be the default. So now go to File, Save As, or Save As Group. Go to Fusion, Templates, Edit, Effects, and type in the name. Save. You may need to wait a second or 2. And then when you go back into the edit page, now to see if we can actually use it and if it shows up, go to Effects, click on the magnifying glass, type in the name of the macro that you saved. In my case, picture. It does show up, but if it doesn't, you may need to restart DaVinci Resolve so that it shows up. I'll just use this clip since it doesn't have anything, and I'll just reset it. And now you can simply drag and drop this onto a clip. And as you can see, it's black, which is not what we want. So what's the issue? Well, let's see. Go to the effects in the inspector and click on the effect. As you can see, since you selected the group, we can now simply click this and we'll see what's wrong with it. So something is off. So this doesn't actually connect like this. So let's do this again. So now let's select everything except the media out one. Right click, create a macro. Now as you can see, the list order changed here, and this depends on how you select the nodes. So if you select the nodes that you want in the beginning, select those first, then select all of the other nodes that make the composition. But I'll leave a link how to make a macro up above. I'll just quickly go over this one. So click everything to make the gradient. That's done. Transform one, we want to be able to change the size. Then we have the ellipse. We want to be able to change the level and the height. So we need to enable the center in Merge 4 so that we can actually move the ellipse. And let's double check the options. In rectangle 1, we want to be able to adjust width, height, current radius. And in the transform 1, size needs to be set 0.6 as minimum. We also have Merge 3. We need to be able to position the window. So let's say picture in picture, so you know what this position will be. We can also go to Merge 4 and ellipse position. And now this should be the final version. So let's save it again. Fusion, templates, edit, effects. Wait a little bit and then close. Did it show up? Let's see. Yes, it did. So now we delete this one. Put this one in. And let's see if we have all of the options. We have the width, we have the height, we have the radius. We can change the color. We can zoom in. And the ellipse also changes. Then we have the peep position. So we can move this around. Then we have the ellipse position. Then we can change the color of the ellipse. We can hide it if we don't want it. And we have the size of the ellipse. And we have everything done. And we made a dynamic picture-in-picture effect that you can just drag onto a clip, zoom in and out, and change the shape of it. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you want to get DaVinci Resolve and video editing content twice a week. And hit the bell notification icon so you know when the next video comes out. I'm Simon, and until next time, Jackalls, keep it digital. Oh, and this effect can be found on my Buy Me a Coffee page. The link will be down below. I'm Simon, and until next time, Jackalls, keep it digital.